Hiya, I'm Liz, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making these awesome centerpool t-shirt yarn cakes. So let's get into it. Okay, so on the channel soon I'm going to be making up a few of these gorgeous knit projects. A little handbag like this one that you can see there, and a little cat hat, as well as a few other bits and pieces. But before we make those up, we need to make up our t-shirt yarn. So today I'm going to turn these piles of t-shirts into these fantastic ombre centerpool yarn cakes. Okay, so I'm going to start with the darkest red one and work my way through. I'm going to cut this one up into yarn. Now, different people have different levels of tolerance for seams and things in their t-shirt yarn. So you can see this t-shirt has a side seam down there. If you are against having seams in your t-shirt yarn, just use t-shirts with outside seams. I'm going for a bit of a rustic look, so I'm not bothered by the side seams. And I am going to cut the whole t-shirt up to get the most out of it in as much continuous yarn as I can. Others just use this first bit that you'll see me cut off here. So basically cut off under the arms, and you've got one long rectangle, just like that. I'm cutting 2-inch wide t-shirt yarn, which is pretty chunky. That's the perfect width for the knit projects that I'm going to be doing. Probably the standard width for t-shirt yarn though is somewhere between 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch. So if you're doing more delicate crochet projects, that's what you're going to be wanting to cut it a bit narrower. All right, so here's how you get this bit to be continuous. You want to cut most of the way through, but not all the way to the end. So you can see I've left that bit intact up the side. Then you're going to open it all up and lay it out so that you can just see that bit that's still intact on the side there, which can be a bit fiddly. And all right, and then we're going to cut from the end up to the edge of the first one on an angle there. Just tidy that up a bit. It's probably not necessary. I could take the opportunity to get rid of the tag while I'm here. Okay. Then we're just going to continue up just like that on an angle all the way through to the end. And that's how you're going to get that continuous yarn, just like you can see there. All right, so all the way through up to the end. Just like that. Also, this t-shirt's got a bit of printing on it. Some people prefer to use t-shirts without printing, but as you'll see when I give it a stretch, the printing always curls to the inside anyway. All right, so I don't like the actual tag. It makes a scratchy bit in the knitting. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting the tag off and then joining the two ends together. Good opportunity to show you how I join the ends. You just want to cut a little slit in both of the ends, just like that, about 1 centimetre from the edge. Poke one through the other, grab the other end of that bit that you poked through and put it through the hole. This is just one of the ways to join t-shirt yarn. If you can't get a hold of the end, you can also just join it with a reef knot, and that works just as well. Cut off the tails and you're good to go. All right, so once you've got your t-shirt yarn cut, you just need to give it a stretch. When you stretch it, you see the t-shirt yarn curls back on itself and gives you a nice thin yarn to work with. Okay, when you get to the end, you just need to cut the little slit in there, like when we join the two pieces, and that way we'll be ready to join on our next piece. Righto, so for me, because I'm not bothered about a bit of texture in my yarn, I'm going to use all of the t-shirt. So the next bit is to cut off the sleeves along that seam there. Some people reserve this part of the t-shirt for other projects, but I'm just going to use it all up here today. I'm going to cut out that seam. It doesn't really help us to make it continuous in the sleeves, so cut out your sleeve seam there. Next. Okay, and then I'm going to open up the hem. So you can just slide your scissors into the to the end of the hem there where you've opened it. and cut along there. There'll be a tiny little bit of stitching left on the fabric, but that doesn't make any problems when you're cutting your yarn. It just blends in. Okay, so do that to both sleeves. You can actually do that to the bottom hem of the t-shirt, but the hem of this t-shirt was a little bit uneven and needed trimming up, so I didn't bother at the start there. Alrighty, so just like with the rest, 2-inch segments, and then for this bit you're just cutting your 2-inch segments into strips. Pretty simple stuff. Your last one will be a bit shorter because of the shape of the t-shirt, so just trim off your uneven ends. Then what we're going to do to each piece is cut the little slits in the top and join them together like we did the other pieces. Join your 2 pieces together, give it a little bit of a stretch. Don't pull too hard because you end up snapping your join. And then give it a bit of a stretch and then join your new piece onto the end of your other piece. Just like that. And then repeat that with all of the other pieces of t-shirt sleeves. Right, next up we're going to just do the last little bit of the t-shirt here. We're going to do that in the same way as we did the sleeves. So just cut your 2-inch wide strips, trim and disregard any uneven ends, and then you can cut your little slits and join that all on to your massive t-shirt yarn. And this is what we have at the end. Okay, so when you have all your t-shirt yarn cut, and I won't put you through cutting all the other colours, take the end of your darkest colour and you're going to need to wrap it around something. Traditionally not a wooden spoon, but a wooden spoon works fine at this point. So take your end, that's going to be your centre pull, and leave it sticking out and then just start wrapping. You're just wrapping horizontally at this point and you want to wrap side by side, just down 3 or 4 inches. So the thickness that you want your yarn cake to be, and then wrap back up again till you're at the top. So that's the base, like the centre of your yarn cake, ready to go. And you want to then turn your wooden spoon onto an angle, and you're going to be wrapping vertically. So the spoon will be on the angle and you'll be wrapping vertically. You're wrapping around on the same angle and just gradually turning the spoon around. And that's how you get your crosses there. You can see the little crosses coming up. You've got it wrapping in 2 different directions there. So you continue to wrap vertically, holding the spoon on an angle and turning it slowly. It's a little bit hard to get going at the start, but you get the hang of it pretty quickly. Alright, so just turning and wrapping. It can get a bit tedious to watch, so I'm going to speed it up for you here. So you get a little bit more. As you come to the end of each colour, you're going to join your next colour on. Foolishly, I did that by the same method as I was joining them together, but it would have been much, much easier just to join them with a little reef knot. So that's my recommendation. When you get to the end of this colour, join the next colour on with a reef knot and just continue wrapping. I used 5 to 6 t-shirts for each of my yarn cakes, and just had them in order from, darkest to lightest to give you that ombre effect. Ombre is a good strategy when you're using second-hand materials like t-shirts and things, because it's unlikely that you get enough t-shirts in exactly the same colour for whatever project you're working on. But an ombre effect gives you a cohesive look if you're not looking for a scrappy look. But you can do it with the the second-hand material still, so donated t-shirts, that kind of thing. Alrighty, I'm going to stop whispering on, but I've done you up a little montage so you can see me add the rest of the colours. Yeah, so basically just as it gets fatter, it gets harder to handle, just take it easy and keep on going. Alright, and there you have it. Now all we have to do is take it off our wooden spoon. So what you want to do is just gently push it off the spoon. It might take a bit of encouragement. You have to give it a bit of a wiggle and go slowly. You should just be able to get your wooden spoon out. If any of the tail comes, just make sure you poke that back into the middle because you don't want it to unravel from the inside. And there you go. A centre pull yarn cake. Your starting yarn there poking out the top. You should just be able to pull and go from there. Thanks for watching the tutorial today. I hope it's helped. And if you want to catch the tutorial for making this cute little bag or this hat with cat ears, make sure you press the subscribe button and the bell so that you don't miss out on any of our posts. Thanks a lot. Bye.